What up, everybody? What is good? This is the Damn Dude Podcast. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, California Cal. This is Season 2, Episode 24. That puts us at 124 episodes. So, damn, dude. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. I'm your host, California Cal. I'm not one of those Californians. You should know what that means by now if you're an avid listener of the show. If not, go back and listen to the past couple episodes. So, we got a good show for you guys today. The topic plug came through with some heat today, and we got some good questions, some good stuff. I should say we are here to help educate, entertain, and make an impact. This show is ultimately about deepening our sense of self-understanding. I'm just some regular dude who has the ability to take all the smart shit that I've ever learned and boil it down and simplify and speak in the most basic, simple way possible. I have no desire to try to sound smart ever or use big words or anything like that. I try to actually simplify everything to the maximum degree, so that way I can actually understand what I'm talking about. And for the people who listening, they just hear the value for what it is. There's no need to be impressed over this or that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to share some shit so we can all live better lives and leave behind dope legacies that we enjoy. So I do this for all generations. These episodes are timeless classics. It doesn't matter what point in history you listen to these, they will always be applicable. That's what I'm going for with this, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're up to. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who leaves 5-star written reviews, leaves comments, shares, likes, all that shit. Appreciate you guys. If you guys ever have any questions or show topics or anything, holler at me on Instagram at @TheRealCaliforniaCal, or on the 5-star written review on Apple iTunes. So, a few things we're going to get into here. A little bit more of the woo-woo sort of stuff to a certain degree, but also, like I said, because I'm not one of those Californians, I fuck with the woo-woo shit, but I also understand that there's real life work and real life efforts that need to get done. You can't just have a picture of something and be like, I'm going to get it, and it shows up. Nah, there's real shit that's got to be done, real healing, real work, real shit we could do, and real shit to understand, and real pictures to paint via words so we can understand these things. So one of the first ones is going to one of our first topics is going to be about our highest self, or our higher self. What does that actually mean? Like, that gets thrown around so much in such weird ways. But a lot of it, we're going to dive deep into it, but a lot of it has to do with healing old shit, healing traumatic shit from when we were kids, being disconnected from our higher self. What does that look like? Like, are certain people put in our lives to help lead us or disconnect us from our highest self? We're going to also be talking about healing our inner child. This is a lot of shit that I've done, and I know it's very cliche sounding. Oh, I got to heal my inner child. Like, yeah. Like, we're kind of beyond the point to where we don't just write people off or whatever because they say, oh, my highest self and blah, blah. It's like, no, this shit's for reals. And people, sorry, hold on. Okay, so, people just throw those words out very loosely and kind of like just go in this super, ooh, I'm from California, and never actually get to the root of it or what it actually means. So it's time where we can kind of circle back around and have these conversations to where we're going to, like, it's not about being woke or this or that. It's about being able to understand this shit so we can actually all heal and grow and live a better life together. So, damn, dude. That's what this is about. We're going to talk about ways to acknowledge our inner child, ways to heal it, being able to accept ourselves, and how have we defined ourselves. And, we basically should not be defining ourselves by our lack or our pain or our lack of progress or things we did or didn't receive, right? So without further ado, let's just get it right into this shit. Without further ado. Also, I just wanted to touch on this real quick, about the subject of what is it about having kids that changes us. I just wanted to kind of like touch on this real quick because I had thought of this before I had started writing out all the show notes from the topic plug. So what up? I appreciate you. like really, it's like it's a trip. And I'm just we can dive deep into this later, but just real quickly, what is it about having kids that changes us? It's really fucking weird, and this all ties in with the show, which leads us to our higher self, right? What is it about having kids that changes us? Well, having kids is like they are our ultimate reflection. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you have kids, or you see you witness other people with their kids, or you have, your brother, your sister has a kid and you see their interaction or whatever, right? However this applies to your life. Um when we have kids, we just see ourselves. And that's the most beautiful and most frustrating thing ever. That's why you see parents not be able to take it or whatever, because it's like they're seeing themselves in miniature, shrunken, louder, angrier, more happier, more cute, more everything, right? It's like, because kids are us, like miniaturized, but all the little things they do and all the things that we do that's annoying or cool is amplified in them. So when we see that, it's kind of like, oh, what the fuck? So I think that starts changing us because we start seeing ourselves differently, and we don't know how to accept it because we just keep rolling with responsibilities. And it's like, if you just keep handling responsibilities without reflection, then we end up kind of missing part of the beauty of it. So there's times where I look at my littlest and I'm like I see where he looks exactly like me in certain ways, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's trippy. Or I'm like, oh, that's a cute feature of him. And then I'll look at myself and I'll be like, whoa, I look like him. And I'll be like, whoa, I have cute features. Like, I know that sounds funny, but it's like, it's a real thing. And I'm like, whoa. Or at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's so annoying when he does this. And it's because I act like that in certain ways, So it's like extra annoying because it triggers my inner me, which is kind of just like, So it's kind of like the egotistical versus introspective way to see the beauty in our kids, which is like, oh my God, my kid's so cute. And you think your kid's the cutest just because they look like you, and it's reminding you, of the inner beauty of you, and that could be taken egotistically or, like I said, introspectively, to where it's like, wow, that's so cool. Like, thank you, or it's like, yeah, hell yeah, because I'm so whatever. It's like, it's cool to have confidence, but there is different ways we can look at that. So I just thought that was kind of trippy because I noticed that within my kids. It's like they'll do, say, or not do or say stuff where I'm like, it strikes me as like, wow. And then it just like is this big mirror and reflection back on me and myself, So I think that's pretty cool. So that kind of leads to the next thing, which is like, well, what is that showing us? Like, what is that mirror showing us? If you see yourself as a kid, basically within your own kids, like you're seeing a pretty interesting mirror. Like, what are you actually seeing of yourself, right? It's pretty trippy. So with our highest self, how do we reach our highest self? Our ego's triggers and ways we cope can block us from the conscious part of ourselves that can lead to immense growth and awareness. So how do we reach our highest self? Well, for one, our highest self is inside of us. It's not out somewhere, and it's not something we need to achieve. I mean, it's something to work towards, but you got to consider this, is right now you are the highest version of yourself in some capacity. We all are, right?
Damn, dude.
So let's say if you're in a relationship, or you have kids, or you have a dog, or you have the job that you like, or you drive a car that you like, or you get to eat what you want to eat, or whatever, you have some sort of version of success in your own life to where it was like one day you wish you could have, and then now you're enjoying that. That's a version of your highest self, because at one point when you were hungry, you had nothing. It was like, oh, if I could just afford a coffee, if I could just afford a sandwich or a bagel or whatever, right? I mean, many of us have been there in some degree or some respect. Even rich people, it's like if you forgot your wallet, or even you have a different set of problems, which is like the same thing. You only have $100 bill and it's too late and they won't accept your money. Weird shit like that. So, excuse me. So our highest self is like, it's within us, but like it's oftentimes only in moments of hardship that we truly start reflecting on it. So we have to consider, for one, and acknowledge that we are our highest self right now. Maybe not all the way, but a piece of it, a version of it. Even if you're in a very low state, like, look at the problems that you have. What problems do you have? Well, I'm having problems with my relationship. Well, at one point, you really wish you had a relationship. I'm having issues with my kids. Well, at one point, you really, really wish you had kids. Well, I'm having issues with my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my husband, my wife. Well, at one point, you really wish you had them. I'm having problems with my job. Oh, it's so stressful. Well, at one point, you really wished you had that job. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
So, with that being said, it's like we have to acknowledge that that's part of us. But what happens is our egos, our triggers, and ways that we cope block the conscious part of us that's trying to help us often, right? So, I think, how do we reach our higher self? I think there's many layers to this, but a big one to start is acknowledging the one that you already are and what you've already accomplished. Because for some reason, deep down, especially in this day and age of internet and shit and TV and social media and all this, like, a lot of us are actually lacking self-confidence. And the reason being is, like, we're not acknowledging the great things that we do because everything's exaggerated and highly emphasized on the internet. As we're in real life, it's like when you accomplish something great, there's not all this praise and glitz and glamour and all this extra shit. It's just like, okay, well, we did that. Now what? You know what I mean? Sorry, my headphones are like making this fucking noise. It's driving me kind of crazy. So, for one, our higher self is in us already. We are our higher self already. Number two is that our higher self is fully reachable. The thing is that, have you created your higher self? We have to create our higher self. Now, this is something, when I first heard this, it absolutely blew my mind. And I don't remember if it was my homie Sebastian or if it was somebody just from a class or what. But the question was, what does your higher self look like? Well, that wasn't. The question that really hit me was like a series of questions. But what really hit me was, what does your higher self smell like? And I was like, huh? Because then it puts it in a very, very, very real sort of equation. Because you're like, huh? What does my higher self smell like? Well, that's pretty easily doable. Like, it's not that far-fetched to be able to, let's say you need to save up to buy your favorite cologne or your favorite shampoos and soaps or deodorants or whatever. Then it's not that far. Let's say you'll have nothing. It's not that far unobtainable, to some capacity. So if you start analyzing and looking at all the different areas and aspects of what does my highest self do? Where does my highest self hang out? Who does my highest self talk to? Who does my highest self hang with? What does my highest self eat? What does my highest self dress like? What does my highest self smell like? What does my highest self talk about? What does my highest self listen to? You know what I'm saying? And if you really start answering these questions, you start realizing, whoa, there's a whole list of answers on where to start already.
Damn, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, like that's crazy. So I think what happens is that's kind of where and how our egos and triggers and whatever get in the way, is because we're not clear on the definition of what our highest self enjoys and prefers and likes to do. We don't know what activities our highest self likes to do. We don't know what our favorite, whatever. What type of bed does your highest self sleep on? What type of sofa does your highest self have? What type of car does your highest self drive? And if these aren't things that are immediately obtainable, like, as I'm saying all this is for me, dude. Like, I've fallen so far out of it. Like, right now, the space I'm in is the highest version of myself that the lowest version of myself was able to see. So now that I'm kind of like here, I'm at like ground zero as an adult, as far as what I have and financially and my career and my family and everything. Like, my whole life just hit this hard reset, and I've documented it this whole time, which is also pretty fucking crazy to me, because I'm excuse me. I used to be, and sometimes am, but used to be so reclusive and antisocial that I'll just fucking bottle my shit up and hold it forever, or just let it out in small bursts of anger here and there, or some shit like that, right? So, as far as letting the conscious part of us start receiving and creating our highest self and making that, how does the conscious part of ourself start being aware of our higher self? Well, it's to consciously start using your conscious and consciously start thinking of things and ways that your highest self would exist on this planet. Because your highest self, I used to get this confused. I used to think my highest self was my spirit guide. My spirit guide is not my highest self. My spirit guide is a guide for my spirit, which helps lead me to my highest self and lead me through the obstacles that my highest self needs to get to. Now, that's a whole different thing. Having your spirit guide is not your highest self. That used to be that's pretty fucking simple if you're deep into this world of woo stuff. But like I said, I'm here to simplify and speak very simply on all this stuff. So when we start asking and then we start doing, then our highest self starts being presented with itself. We're going to go deeper into this too, but there's other angles of this which we need to cover, which is, what if the wounded part of ourself is keeping us from discovering our highest self? What can we do to get there? Well, let me say this. This hit me really profound. I hope it hits you really, really profound. I'm going to restate the question. Well, parts of it. What if the wounded part of ourself is keeping us from discovering our highest self? What I'm going to say to that is that your wounded self is your highest self.
Damn, dude.
Your wounded self is your highest self. Now, what does that mean? What do I even mean by that? Yeah, okay, cool. Now what? I get it. So, if you look at this, what I mean by that is it's oftentimes the most hurt part of you that gives you the most power to accomplish whatever it is that we want to accomplish. So for me, I'll give real life examples here. So it's not just this like woo woo shit in the wind. It's like there's actually something we can do. And I aim to create experiential learning through my sharing. So you guys will have and be able to see and feel your own version of this through my version of this, which is, for me, I'd always been afraid to talk. Speaking in general was the most scary thing in the world to me. So I've often told the story of when I was a little kid. I was in Big Five with my dad, and the bathroom's in the back, and I was so scared to talk to people. And my dad's like, "Oh, go ask the guy if you can use the bathroom." And I was so scared to talk to people that I would have rather peed my pants than went and asked the guy to use the bathroom. Peed my pants in public. I was maybe like 7 years old. And my dad was just like, well, nah, fuck. Like, he's not going to let that happen. So he goes and asks the guy for me. But it was like that wounded part of me, which was keeping me from even just being able to use the restroom. Like, that's a pretty simple human function and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, even in Mexico where they charge you 50 cents to use the bathroom, they'll still, under the right circumstances, be like, fuck it, go ahead, bro. Like, if you're going to fucking shit yourself or pee yourself in public, or you got your period, or like something like, you know what I'm saying? People have understanding because everybody has to go to the bathroom. So, like, people have some sort of understanding to some capacity at least. So, being that I was so afraid to speak that I was willing to pee myself, and keep in mind, I should say, I also went silent for a whole year, and this was around that time. So, after my sister, grandma, and great aunt died, it kind of messed me up, and I was all just weird, So anyway, that wounded, injured part of me deep inside, that little boy who's afraid to ask to go pee, well, I didn't just magically outgrow that, and it didn't magically just go away. You know what I'm saying? Once I started gaining enough confidence to actually speak and use my voice in any capacity, whether it be on this microphone or to speak to people in real life, because people, when they talk to me, they can't believe that I'm shy or afraid to talk. Like, if you meet me, you wouldn't get the impression, oh, this guy is introverted. I'm completely introverted, but I've learned and practiced how to, like, the extrovert skills. I can go in public and fucking hold a conversation and do whatever, but if I go out by myself, dude, I mean, I don't really drink beer, but like I've done this in the past where it's like I'll go to a bar somewhere, some random ass place on my motorcycle or just drive or whatever, right? I'll go have a beer and I won't fucking talk to a single person because I'm not the guy who goes and talks to people. I would literally rather, I swear, I would rather sit in a bar full of people by myself if I don't know anybody than to have to go fucking socialize with people. For reals. Like, I love being alone, dude. I love it. I have no problem with it. I can do it for like a long time. I got no problem with it. So the thing is, it's easy for me to do that. I know how to put on like personas just via body language and facial expressions and all this to scare people or to have people not talk to me or to come off a certain way. I know how to dress certain ways, to look certain, to put off certain personas and this and that. I used to do that so heavily. I didn't have any real sense of self. So what I realized is that I was so disconnected from my wounded self that I could not get to my higher self because my wounded self is my higher self. And that's the only reason you guys hear this podcast or you hear me talking at all is because I've taken that wounded part of myself, that hurt child who's afraid to speak, and I've given it a hug. And now what you guys are seeing is that broken, quiet child just receive a hug and look back out into the world and be like, wow, maybe this world is a beautiful place. Wow, maybe people aren't so bad. You know, like, wow, maybe the things that happen to me just happen to me and it doesn't necessarily mean anything good or bad. It just is what happened. And that does not define me as a human being.
Damn, dude.
Yo. So, as I had said, like the next part of this question was, what does it look like to be disconnected from your higher self? Well, it's that. I think step one is number one, like with the first part of the episode, which we talked about, but the next really like actually getting into it is, what does it look like to be disconnected from your higher self? Would be to not be giving hurt, broken, upset, lonely you as a kid the hugest hug and giving them love. You know what I mean? Anytime you felt abandoned, anytime you felt like somebody didn't love you, anytime you felt like you didn't have any purpose, anytime you felt alone, anytime you feel like all you are is an annoyance. Like, we've all been there and we've all been that person. We've all been in that place. Even the quietest motherfucker feels like they've been so annoying. I feel like that, and I'm a quiet ass dude. You know what I mean? So, like I said, is doing this podcast and staying committed to this is a promise to stay connected to my younger self, the broken little quiet kid me walking around second grade completely in silence, you know, just thinking I was dumb. So another way to know that we're disconnected from our higher self is if we haven't framed it and asked ourselves and gone through the questions of what does he or she look, smell, talk, think, eat, act, dress, etc. like, you know, and then we slowly start working towards those things. So that's why I like the thing of, what does the highest version of me smell like? And even if you're broke as shit, you can still take a shower and at least not stink. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's practical to do, even if you're homeless, even if you're depressed or sad or whatever. Like, you can go to the beach and take a shower. The showers are always on there. You can go to the gym and, you know, use a free day pass or whatever and go use the locker rooms, go use the showers, use a towel, whatever, right? So that's why I said, for me, that hit, because it didn't really matter what status I was financially. I had the ability to control how I smelled. You know, and it's small and it's funny, but it's so true. And when we actually start working on these things, we start getting pointed towards there. And I'm so happy to have this conversation because I've been disconnected from my highest self. And like we've been like holding hands by like a fucking finger, where it's like I kind of know who he is and I kind of don't. And I'm kind of in this limbo. So I'm in the because it's like, as you guys know, I've been through fucking hell in these past couple months. So in this past year, really, shit, I've documented the whole fucking thing, my whole family falling apart, everything, dude. So, this is me doing the work, you know? So what we're finna do is we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be right back.
Damn, dude.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome, bicycles. So this episode is brought to you in part by love yourself. Don't be a little bitch. Love yourself. Treat yourself nicely. Treat yourself kind. Appreciate you guys. So, thank you to our sponsors for that. So, again, what does it look like to be disconnected from our higher self? This shit hit me, which is a lack of discipline. You lack discipline. You lack discipline. Like, if we're lacking discipline, then we know we're disconnected from our higher self. If we are not doing things that are hard, we're disconnected from our higher self. And that's been me, dude. It's like I've been disconnected emotionally. I've been doing shit that's hard emotionally. And I guess physically, because I did 75 hard. I mean, 112 hard, which was mine. But I did that, and it was like life was so hard that whole program kind of occurred as easy, which is really fucking weird, you know? And so now I was thinking like, dude, where would I be if I wasn't doing 75 hard during those last couple months? Like I might have fucking just wilded out and went out of control and hurt myself or hurt somebody. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like one thing I do know is to just keep going. Just keep going. That's it. Like if you're going to like take anything from this podcast at all, at a minimum, just keep going. That's so important. Just fucking keep going. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do shit that's hard. And the next piece of this, which is, you know, connected to our higher self, is are certain people put in our path that can help lead us to our higher self? Yes, absolutely. But you got to consider this. This is deep as well. A lot of times when we hear this question or we hear this statement or however you hear that, is there certain people put in our path to help lead us to our higher self? Absolutely. But, big asterisk. Have to consider that these people are not just, wow, this guy taught me such a deep life lesson. This girl taught me such, you know, deep connection and whatever. No. Oftentimes, these people are the people who annoy the absolute fucking shit out of your pants. These people make you barf out of your mouth. They make you fart out of your ass. They make...
Damn, dude.
These people make you hear from your ears. Oh, they make you feel with your feelings. The people who annoy the absolute fuck out of you or piss you the fuck off, those people are probably bigger and more prominent people that are guides and tests and people who test you along your path to discovering and loving and being and creating your highest self.
Damn, dude.
The people who piss you off, those are the important people. Because when you can master having love for the people you're supposed to hate, for the people you should hate, that's when you really start feeling peace and you really start connecting to your highest self, the highest version of yourself or your higher self. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing is, yes, 100% people are put in our path to distract us from our highest self. Those people are leading us to our highest self. 100%. A lot of us take it and we flip it and we say, oh no, I'm disconnecting from negative energy. No, if you just avoid negative energy, all you're going to end up with is negative fucking energy, because that's all you're going to be, because you have unresolved issues all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying? So the more unresolved issues you have all over the place, the more negative energy you've just created for your life, your context, and your window of looking at life. Because now, if that's the path you chose and you disconnected from negative energy rather than problem solving, now you're just an angry loner.
Damn, dude.
That's as real as it gets, dude. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is with all this new California people and all this woo woo, it's like, bro, okay, yes, the spiritual shit is very real, but at the same time, you've got to go all the way. You can't just put one foot in and expect magic to just start fucking happening. You know what I'm saying? So the other thing you got to keep in mind is every person, whether we look at this on either end of the scale, the people who are put in our life to help lead us to our higher self, the people who occur in our lives for that reason positively, and the people who occur in our lives for that reason negatively, we are on their path also.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Think about that. You got put in that person's path also. So not only is that person who annoys you or teaches you or cares about you, not only are they put in your life and in your path, but you are put in their life and put on their path.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
That's fucking gangster, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's really fucking sick. That shows the importance of you. So this is just clicking for me. It's like, dude, every time you've got to meet somebody who you look up to or speak with somebody who you idolize or somebody that you respect, you have enough respect to be in front of that person for that person to listen to what you have to say and to be there to share that time with you.
Damn, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even though that person's teaching you, you got to keep in mind you're teaching them, because people who are great teachers learn from their students continuously. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, is any great teacher is learning from the student. And then if the case happens to be you are the student in this case, you are equally there as much as they are equally there.
Damn, dude.
So if you consider, like, if you get anything from this podcast, it's because the ability that you have to take in information from your point of understanding to let this in and to be understood. You know what I'm saying? So it's like your depth depends, like my depth depends on your depth, and your depth depends on my depth. Because if I'm speaking to a certain amount of depth and you can only hear to a certain amount of depth, or you can hear beyond a certain amount of depth, that's what either is going to make the show cool or not cool for you. You know what I mean? If you listen beyond the depth that I speak at, then this is kind of like, this is boring. But if you listen from the depth that I come from and you match me there, you meet me there, or you're digging down there with me, then this is going to be a highly beneficial and positive show. You know, and it works like that with the people we listen to, the music we listen to, the food we eat, how we take care of ourselves, what we smell like, all of that, right? So all of these lead to our highest self or our higher self. So like I said, we have to create it. What do you look like, smell like, dress like, act like, feel like, think like, talk like? What do you watch? What do you do for entertainment? You know, these questions are hard because they change all the time, but at the same time, it's a place to start. You know what I'm saying? So the next piece of this is an exciting episode, man. This goes deep. I really like this. This is cool. So this all ties in perfectly. Is the topic and subject of healing our inner child. First of all, just with that line alone, healing our inner child, I feel like, we've got a breakdown, but just that, those words alone is really interesting to me, because I feel like, and I guess I've never talked about this with anybody, but this just kind of occurred to me right now. When I hear that, heal your inner child, where my mind goes straight to is eradicating the pain that my inner child experienced. And that's not what that means at all, actually. Because when you actually heal your inner child, you don't just get rid of it. Like, think about this. When you get a cut on your knee or your elbow or whatever, I mean, just in general, but most of us can relate to getting a cut on your knee or elbow. Do you remove the scar and the cut from you in order to heal? Or do you accept the scar and the cut and allow it to heal? Do you own it? You know what I'm saying? It's like your body owns it. It literally absorbs into you until there's a scab and then the scab falls off. But even that's at the last minute, you know, because it's done everything it needs to do from the inside out. It doesn't heal from the outside in, it heals from the inside out. And that's why you grow a scab over a cut, is to protect the outside while the inside does all the fucking work. So when it comes to healing our inner child, it's not that it goes away. The wounds from being a child do not go away. They get absorbed. But the thing is how do you absorb it? Did you absorb it with fucking tetanus in it? You know, did you allow your cut to heal with tetanus and poison inside of it? Or did you clean the cut and then now it healed to where you're actually stronger? Now you have a cool story.
Damn, dude.
Because the way I see this is I do my best to convert all emotional scars to a cool story and something cool to look at. Just like I had any scars I could show you on my body, they are now cool stories that I have, that I've collected. So that's what I aim to do with all the emotional cuts inside of me, is to heal them in such a way where it's now just a cool story and it's nothing more and nothing less than that. It's what happened. It's my story. It's a story. It's the story. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think that's one thing you can run back, and this entire podcast is like, my story doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm telling you the truth about everything that I do and go through. Because to me, that's what creates a time lick. A time lick? What is a time lick? Is that like a cow lick? A timeless classic of an episode. And that's what makes these priceless. Well, oh, damn, that was cool. Priceless. I meant to say timeless, but priceless too. You know, so anyways, healing our inner child. What are ways we can acknowledge what our inner child needs in order to heal? We all have different inner conflicts that lead back to childhood when we may have not been seen, felt, heard, or understood. Whether we're aware of it or not, it's what we harbor as adults.
Damn, dude.
All right, so that's pretty insightful, dude. That's really dope. So what are ways that we can acknowledge what our inner child needs in order to heal? Well, first would be to acknowledge what the problems were. I think when it comes to healing shit, I look back to when I first started my own journey of it, and the very first thing was acknowledgement. And it's kind of like recovering or healing from anything is acknowledging it. You know, it's like if you have a broken arm, you can't heal it correctly unless you acknowledge that it's broken first. You know, same thing if you're an alcoholic, like you can't really do the work if you don't acknowledge that you're an alcoholic. Same thing. It's like you can't be a better husband if you don't acknowledge that you're a crappy husband, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. So number one would be to get clear on what is it that our inner child went through that we're still carrying today? And if you consider, if you're not motivated to start doing the work already by this conversation, then I would say, how does it sound to you? Let's say you had a very emotional incident happen. Let's say you got laughed at in first grade, second grade, third grade, for whatever, right? You got made fun of, you got outcasted, you were different, you got shamed, whatever it may be, right? You got abandoned, whatever your thing is. How would you feel about having that child? Let's say you were between 2 and 10 years old when the gnarliest event of your childhood happened. Would you want that 2 to 10-year-old making all your life decisions, all your emotional life decisions? Would you want that hurt child in that moment to make the decisions about your relationship when you get older? I don't think you would. I know I wouldn't. But you got to look at this, I should say. And if you look at this, the people who have not done the work the people who do not do the work, because it's never ending. The people who do not do the work to heal their stuff from when they're a child, they are making decisions in adult bodies based off of that hurt child's emotions and intellect.
Damn, dude.
If you have not done the work, you are making decisions from the eyes of a child, a hurt child. If you have not done the work, you are making decisions through the eyes and consciousness of a hurt, lonely child.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
That's some real shit. So if that doesn't encourage you to start this fucking journey, to start looking at things a little bit differently, I don't know what the fuck will. I mean, at the same time, this show's just for who it's for. This message is just for who it's for. But at the same time, this is real life, and we all experience these different things. And that's the thing, is we all experience different inner conflicts. But let me say this. This is just like a fuckery of words. We all experience different inner conflict. And we all experience inner conflict.
Damn, dude.
Bruh. Holy shit. If we all experience inner conflict, let's change this out a little bit. If we've all, or a majority of us, have experienced outer conflict, which would mean a cut on your arm, your elbow, a scrape, a bruise, a cut, you fell down, you got hurt. Let's just say a cut. You got a cut on your skin. That is an outer conflict. So what do we all do? So granted, none of us got the exact same cut. We all have different cuts. We all have different scrapes. But how do you heal it? Well, how we all heal it is basically the same. There's slight, little details that some of us do and some of us don't do upon healing it. But the point is the same, which is it doesn't really matter. Clean it and heal it. And then you'll be good. So it's that's what's interesting about all of us and our inner problems and shit. It's not that it's so unique. It's not unique to have inner problems. We all do. So that's the thing is, well, how do you clean those cuts and let them heal? Well, you do just exactly that. And whatever the process is for each person is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? I think I know enough to know that, which is that we all have it and it's all slightly different. But the thing is, it's all the same because we all have it. And the fact that it's slightly different makes it all the same for all of us.
Damn, dude.
That's a fucking trip. It's like, it gives us a point of reference for life. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I talk about real shit, is because I want you guys to feel and experience through my life situations and shit, and whoever else's who asks questions or writes notes or anything, to where we're able to start accepting ourselves and what we didn't feel as children. Because, like, kind of leading to the next thing is, like, when we accept ourselves and what we didn't feel as children can free us in our adult life. And absolutely. Because this is the thing, is like, that's where it's dangerous though. So for example, if I accept that I grew, it goes either way. And I'm just using, this just popped up for me. It's my personal example and it allows me to be vulnerable here, which is I accepted what I didn't feel as a child, which was I didn't always have a hot meal and I didn't have affection. So what that led me to, so before I really started accepting that for myself, when I was just kind of unaware of it and it was just happening because that's what we all have going on, like it's hindering me from my highest self. But the thing is that, excuse me, once it's like when I started getting it, sorry, let me back up a touch. When I was not conscious of the stuff that I had gone through, or just very slightly conscious, I didn't have the affection and I didn't have hot meals. So that if I understand that, that can free me in my adult life. But the thing is yes, that's absolutely true. Because if I can understand my affection needs and my eating habits and needs in a healthy way, then it's a great thing. But when I'm in the state of not understanding them, that has me personally be over attached, jealous, not necessarily, I wouldn't say controlling, but like jealous and attached in relationships because of my whole issue with affection. So that's where that would lead me in certain points. Now, I did a lot of work around it. I'm not like, I used to be. But, as an adult, I've grown and I'm not like, oh, you hold my hand and just start getting mad about whatever the fuck, right? So I realized that. I'm like, oh, shit. On the other hand, where this leads me down a bad path that's the affection part, then the food part is, well, shit, I didn't get to eat out. I didn't get to have hot meals all the time. So this is going to cause me to eat all the hot meals and eat out constantly and just eat and eat and eat and eat because I didn't have this before. And I'm just fulfilling the needs of what my childhood was lacking. So this is kind of like where we take a step back and we look at where we talked about in the higher self about discipline. If we're lacking discipline, then we are straying away from our higher self. So if I apply those things with discipline, then that turns out to be a good, positive thing for me. So if I have the affection thing and the food thing, and I apply discipline to those, well, now my affection goes properly into caring for people in the community, caring for my clients, my students, my own kids, and myself. Having affection and compassion for myself, seeing beauty in myself, that's something that is important to stop and take time to do also, right? So that's kind of like where it's a fine line between, like, those things, I believe, turn into your strong suits, and your strong suits are good and bad, like how I just described. You know what I mean? It's like it helps you in the right instance and it completely doesn't help you in another right instance. Like for me, another one of those would be speaking up. Like for me, it's easy to just be quiet. It's way easier for me to be quiet. And there's times where that's very beneficial to me, just shut up and not say anything. But then there's other times where it's like, you fucking should have said something. So now I practice being on the other, not all the way on the other end, but now I practice speaking up when it feels out of turn, speaking up when I'm out of, just kind of like, fuck it. And just give it a try the same way that I would be quiet and either fuck up or enhance certain conversations or whatever. I'm now, experimenting and trying so I can give myself what my inner child, what my little inner hurt child was lacking in a healthy, positive way, which is communication. So this is kind of, like I said, that's why me doing this podcast is kind of me honoring my higher self by me honoring the little child in me and acknowledging and honoring what was scary and what was lacking from when I was a kid, And when I do this podcast, I don't talk people's ears off because there's been like phases of my life where I would do that, where it's like, this person's listening, blah, 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 and just fucking unload on them. But now I realize, okay, you got to have balance between what you share and, how much you say and what you're saying and all of this. And I'm not like crazy about it, but it's just something I have a little bit of awareness over. So there's one more piece to this whole thing. So we're going to take a quick break. And we're going to hear a message from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
Hola, 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 ¿cómo estás? Remember, don't be a little bitch. Have love, compassion, help your neighbor, love yourself, and make sure you make time for your family, your friends, and to do good things for yourself. Toodle-hoo!
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
What up, everybody? Welcome, Bicycle. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, yes. Just take a calm moment to breathe and relax. Because when I say relax, it's more soothing than saying relax. What the fuck? What am I talking about? I don't know. So, again, welcome, Bicycle. So the last piece of this is, we kind of went over, we just fully went over. Accepting ourselves and what we didn't feel as children can free us in our adult life. We're going to kind of revisit that. So let's kind of, we touched on that. I don't mind closing that off, but there's something we're tying back into that. I got to get to the next piece, and then the next piece will tie both of those pieces together. So, like I said, I realized I haven't done this Tarantino thing in a while where the end connects to the beginning and the beginning connects to the end, and it kind of like goes in this loop to where you could legit listen to the whole podcast like on repeat and it will kind of keep making sense. Oh man, I haven't done that in a minute. So anyway, this next portion is, we can't define ourselves by what we didn't and don't receive. We can do the work to heal without letting our past hinder us from our higher self. This just twisted my brain. Hold on. We can't define ourselves by what we didn't and don't receive. True. We can do the work to heal without letting our past hinder us from our higher self. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, a lot of us, I know for me, I defined myself by my pain for so long by, oh yeah, my best friends got murdered, I got cheated on, broke my neck, blah, 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 broken 64 bones, my whole story, right? But I'm not my story. That's just shit that's happened to me. Who I am is somebody who creates authentic conversations, fun, safety, and the experience of love. That's who I am. So I can't let the shit I didn't and don't receive define me. So for example, like how I was talking about, I used to be super duper jealous in relationships. I cannot allow that to define me, because that's what all I was really lacking was affection and attention in that way. So me lacking attention me lacking affection as a child, not getting enough hugs, equals me being jealous and attached as an adult in relationships. So I really cannot go and define myself by, how are you with relationships? Oh, I'm just fucking jealous. No, that's what I was doing for a while. But now that I'm conscious of that, I'm aware of that, I don't have to pick that for myself. So I do not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pick that for myself. Like, why the fuck would I? There's no point. I mean, I guess the point would be to honor my lower self, but why do that if we have the consciousness to do so? So that's the thing, is we certainly can do the work without letting our past hinder us. But this is the thing, is if you are a different person from who you were as a kid, then you've got to take a few steps back, because that's the same person. It's the same individual. It's the same spirit. It's the same body. You've grown and some things have changed, but it's still the same person. That was still you, and you are still you, and you will still be you, no matter how much you change. You know what I mean? Because wherever you go, you're there. Whatever problem you show up to, whatever fight you get into, whatever argument you get into, you showed up for it. You were there too. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about this, it's not necessarily that. I think that's how you get stuck, is when you're trying to heal, but you're trying to get away from your past self or an old version of you or something. It kind of creates this like stuck issue. The thing is, it's not about, I don't be that person, so now I'm this person. It's, no, I go and love that person, and then I bring them up to speed.
Damn, dude.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I realize if you're not watching the video, then you missed the cool little hand thing I did, which is basically, I'm picturing a timeline, like an old school one you had to do in school, where it's like you literally draw the whole thing or type it or print it, whatever, right? And along this timeline, let's say there's the date you're born, and then there's today. And however many years have happened, you've gotten to today. the thing is, let's say that timeline, let's say you start it and the timeline starts moving down the scale, or the marker starts moving down the timeline. So for me, I'm born in 1985. My marker starts going, oh, boom, 1992 happens. I have all this crazy shit happen in my life. Okay, so basically for me, my marker stopped there, and then life kept happening, and I kept going on my own marker of life, and then boom, all of a sudden it's 2022, and now I'm 36 years old. So it's up to me to go back and kind of restart that marker that happened in 1992 and be like, bro, we got to bring you from 1992 to 2022. So if I can bring old little hurt me up to present time and present understandings, we no longer have pain. We now have healing. So I go back down my timeline mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however this occurs to you. I'm very like visual when I think about shit. So you grab that motherfucker and you hike them back to present time. That might mean having to explain, hey, we got this shit called the internet. Hey, we got fucking toilets that flush themselves. Hey, we've got fucking hand dryers and paper towel dispensers where you wave your hand and the shit just comes out on its own. Like, we've got fucking, you can get food delivered to your house. You can like look shit up just on this little phone. Can you believe this is a phone? You know what I mean? Like, calculators weren't even as small as my phone back in the day. That's crazy. You know, so we have to go bring that old hurt child, old hurt person, old hurt spirit. My dog died. My parents didn't come home until 2 a.m. Whatever the fuck happened, right? You got to bring them up to speed. Just like how you know what you know about spelling and driving and math and whatever, you got to teach all that spiritual shit that you know too, about being a good person, about what's good, about love. Surely you've learned more about love up until this point than you knew about when you were 6, right? You know, if not, then there's a good place to start. But if it's like clearly, then that's good. Go back and show that young, hurt version of you what that love looks like, what that love feels like. You know, this is something powerful I really learned in the last time I was in the jungle in Peru, which was we have to love ourselves the way that our parents, guardians, parents, whoever that like loved us or birthed us or whatever and showed us love at any capacity. We have to love ourselves how they showed us love, how they had care for us.
Damn, dude.
Because when we can see ourselves with such care and such preciousness, which is just like how I mentioned in the very beginning of this episode, when you have kids and you see yourself in them, can you show yourself that love that you have for your child? Can you see yourself like that? Can you be that compassionate and affectionate and caring and loving and see yourself as that beautiful, as that cute, as that charming, as that handsome? You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Damn, dude.
Like, fuck, dude. So where I was talking about the next piece of this, which ties the last two parts together, about accepting ourselves and what we didn't feel as children can free us in our adult life and can also hinder us. And then what we can't define ourselves by what we did and didn't receive or don't receive. And we could do the work to heal without letting our past hinder us from our higher self. We just talked about that. So the next piece I'm adding to this is from the point as a kid of it being possible to be a princess or ninja or whatever that fantasy thing was. I'm going to be a pro skateboarder. Like I remember my oldest son, Nate, he's like, I'm going to be a pro skateboarding physicist rock star. Like fucking awesome, bro. Let's do it. How do we get there? Let's go. Right? Like, how do I'm going to be a ninja. I'm going to be a princess. Like from that point, when that was possible, from then till when you found out it wasn't possible to be a princess ninja and you work at fucking a job, working at Target or Sprouts or fucking Qualcomm or whatever job you work. That's not what you dreamed of when you were a kid. Excuse me. Very, 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 very few of us are actually doing what we wanted to do when we were kids, right? I'm doing as close as I can. I wanted to be a firefighter and a pro motorcycle racer. I fucking ride motorcycles for fun. I broke my skull, neck, and back in the middle of becoming a firefighter, so now I teach babies how to swim. Swimming was one of my lifelong fears. It all adds up. I missed out on my childhood, so now I get to play with kids, so it all adds up for me. So that's why I do what I do. So to me, it adds up to a certain degree. It wasn't exactly spot on, but it's as close as it's going to get. So since you stopped believing you could be a princess, have you taken the time to, or a ninja, have you taken the time to redefine that ultra out there fantasy coolest version of you? Fuck yeah, I'm a ninja. I'm doing fucking flips over walls and killing bad guys and saving princesses. Oh, what? You're a princess? I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to live in a castle and I'm going to have long hair and I'm going to have a pet tiger. Right? What's the new version of that for you? Why did you not recreate that for yourself? Because you want to know what? That is who your higher self motherfucking is.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
That's who it is. So that new cool version of you, who you think is so sick, but now you actually you understand your real capabilities. Well, it's like, shit, I wasn't born into royalty, or I'm not hot enough to marry a prince, or I don't know a prince, or I think that's kind of whack, so I'm going to do something else. So you be a model, or you dress nice, or you do whatever the fuck that makes you feel like a fucking princess, right? So that's what I do, is like working with babies, I'm saving lives, so that makes me feel that feeling I wanted to feel as a firefighter. It also gives me that freedom of being outdoors, you know what I mean? Working with kids, playing with kids, it's like, dude, I have fucking fun, dude. You know what I'm saying? So at what point have you redefined who that person is? For me, my redefined version of being a fucking superhero or whatever the fuck was impossible, I'm still recreating that for myself, and I'm in the process of kind of like re-honing in on it. But for me, it's to be somebody who creates fun, safety, love, happiness, and freedom. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want that to be what people not necessarily expect, but can expect from me. You know, is to be a positive person who practices emotional intelligence and just takes shit, owns it, and fucking moves forward and is honest and real about it. Because anything else, I'm not trying to fuck with that. So that's why this show is the way it is. This show is the only fucking show like this. You know what I mean? So that's what I highly encourage everybody to do, is ask yourself, reopen that dream box. Reopen it. I want to be a fucking rich princess. I want to be whatever the fuck it is. What do you do that honors that? Because if you don't honor that, your highest self will forever have a chunk of it missing, and it can never connect at you. Because if you think about it theoretically on this timeline, your higher self's in the future. So I'm getting messages. Your higher self is in the future. Your hurt self is in the past. And you're just you right now. So which one are you? Are you your hurt past? Are you your present self, which doesn't know if they're the past or the future? Or are you this future badass version of yourself? Well, you're all of them and you're none of them. So you might as well put them all together and meet them all in the middle. Drag that motherfucker from the future up to here. Drag that motherfucker from the past up to here. And let's all walk hand in hand together as a complete, whole human being who is living this life, experiencing the human experience as a spiritual being.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
And that's why this woo-woo shit is real, is because we are all, anybody listening to this who can comprehend this, is a spiritual being living the human experience. That's all we're fucking doing. So the more we understand that, the more we practice gratitude, the better the fuck off we are in life. So tap into your inner child. Who are they? Heal them. You know, if they're healed and they didn't go through anything crazy, then just tap back into them and fucking have fun. Same kid who would climb on a wall and jump off. The same kid who would fucking climb over a rope. The same kid who would balance on a fence. Like, dude, do that shit. So as I recreate myself and I create who I am, I'm somebody who, when I don't know why I always have this vision, but when I'm old as fuck is when I'm going to be in my prime. Like, you guys are going to see all the work I've done with my emotional intelligence to equal that. And that's something that I see, is if I keep practicing emotional intelligence, excuse me, yeah, hiccups. When I get old, I get to like be a kid again. And I think that's like the coolest way you could live, is when you're old as fuck and you still have this young and vibrant spirit and vibe, and and thing about you. You know what I mean? I think that's dope. When I'm old, you're going to see me skateboarding. You're going to see me ollieing curbs. You're going to see me riding wheelies on motorcycles. You're going to see me doing this shit because that's part of who I am and that's who I create myself to be. And I want to have the emotional freedom to be able to do these things. I climb on walls with my son. I fucking jump off shit. I fucking drop into half pipes for my older son. I do whatever the fuck. And there's a good chance I'll have to do it again. And I still do it again for my youngest son so he can see, oh, wow, this is badass. Like, dude, my dad's sick as fuck. I want to be a happy person who does cool shit, you know, and speaks their mind. So that's what I'm doing. I'm living the life that I believe the younger version of me, especially young hurt version of me, would be proud of. Because I'm doing the impossible according to old, younger me from the past. This is impossible. Hearing this, having the consistency is the impossible. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this means so much. And I keep showing up all the time because this is my legacy. If I stop, then my legacy just cuts short. Yeah, I'll have 124 episodes in the books, plus all the practice ones from Because Documenting, which you can find on my Instagram. I should upload those as podcasts, actually. That would be kind of cool. But this is it, dude. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be fucking successful. It just has to be what's in alignment with you and what you love and what you honor. I don't get paid for this, you guys. I'm taking the time out of my own day every fucking day to do this. I do not get paid. I don't get rewarded in any degree. The biggest reward that I get is that this is rewarding because people's lives are being benefited, new outlooks are being created, and new impact is being made. And when I get messages from people like, dude, this episode or when you said this part, dude, that shit hits my heart and I fucking love and appreciate that shit so fucking much. You know, it really just kind of pats me on the back and it's like, bro, keep going. Because this isn't about me. It's not about you. It's about all of us. And I think that's what's so cool is like this whole thing is about all of us. It's for us all. It's for history. It's for legacy. It's for my kids, kids. You know what I'm saying? So I got to spit this real shit so we know what to do. My kids and grandkids and great-grandkids and great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids have a reference point of life and family lineage and history. That's why this shit exists. So this is me being a fucking ninja right now. Because, you know, if I sum this up in a very kid-like way, dude, I got my own show. I have my own show. I'm talking on camera. I'm talking on a microphone with all these soundboard and sound effects and a fucking computer. Then I get to go play in a pool with kids, and me playing in the pool with these kids equals them knowing how to save their lives in the water and swim by themselves and have these families be proud of them. That's what I get to do today. And I get to go exercise. Whoa, dude, you live a cool life. Or, fuck, man, I'm recording this fucking podcast that doesn't make any fucking money. I'm a few G's in debt because of this. Nobody fucking likes it. People do not fucking leave any reviews or comments. So I don't think anybody cares. I got to go to this fucking job that's like, I've only got a couple clients. I'm not making very much money. You see the difference? And I'm talking about the same fucking thing. I'm going to choose that kid version. I want to choose the kid explanation. What's the kid twist on what you're doing? Are you being boring? Yeah, we all have to do adulting, but are you doing it boring or are you doing it cool? You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down, we all have to do adulting. Are you going to become an adult that teenage you would have liked to encounter when you were skateboarding at the fucking school? Are you the type of adult that when 13-year-old you would have liked as a teacher? Is adult you a type of person that you sneaking into the mall or the movie theater would have liked to come across if they caught you? Which type of adult are you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, think about that. Are you being lame as fuck? Oh, these fucking kids. Well, as soon as you start seeing, oh, fucking teenagers, bro. Dude, when I was in my earlier 20s, and especially in early 30s, or I should say later 20s, early 30s, a lot of people my age started having this, oh, fucking teenager talk. I'm like, I would shut that shit down so fucking fast every time. I'm like, bro, you're old. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I would just shut it down. I'm not trying to insult people, but it's like, dude, no, that's old people talk. I don't fuck with that. You know, I say shit like that. Like, so tap in with your higher self. Your higher self is usually the shit that your kid version of you thought was cool. And now that you have like actual, like realistic guidelines of life, now it's like, I know I'm not going to be a ninja, and I know I'm not going to be a fucking princess or a prince or some shit, but I have a son named Royal, and I could feel pretty fucking cool about the shit that I do, right? I don't know if you guys got that or not, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? I got my kids, Nate and Royal, they make me feel like a king, and that's my legacy. I got my show, I'm in control of it, I'm the boss of it. I've got my business. Yes, I'm the boss of it, but it's really everybody else is the boss of me. I work for them. You know what I'm saying? So I just get to be in a blessed enough place to honor these people and their requests. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good. Like, anybody who's paid for my service and gone through with it, not one person's ever felt ripped off, dude. Like, there's absolutely no way. You know what I'm saying? I deliver on what I have to offer. I teach babies faster than any motherfucker on this planet. And it's an open challenge. Let's fucking go, homie. Oh, God. So this is a deep-ass episode. We went a bit longer today than usual. And it's all good in the neighborhood, Holmes. You know what I mean? Because this is all out of love. It's for fun. It's for fucking, like I said, to help entertain, educate, make an impact. I'm just some regular motherfucker from Mira Mesa, Mecca Town. Oh, dude. And, you know what I'm saying? I love this shit. What other sound effects are on here?
Ah, shit!
Ah, sit.
So is.
Yeah.
Oh, dude!
Norwegian gangster rapper.
Oh, I have the intro on here? I did not realize I had the intro music on a sound button on my soundboard. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Yo, my son made all the music for this show, by the way. So, yeah. Anyways, hope you guys have a beautiful day. Love you guys. Much love. Make sure you tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a cousin. Go bump this in your sandwich shop, in your barber shop, wherever you listen from. Slap this in your car, whatever it may be. Have a beautiful day, guys. Much love. Peace.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.
That's how I used to end all the shows with the bong rip noise. Much love, guys. Peace.